road trip it. Take a listen.
Here are the cons. Playing with LeBron sucks because you're trying to win a championship. He's one of the most competitive human beings in the history of American sports and sports in general. Does it suck when you're showing up and he's already been practicing for 4 hours and you're like, oh, when he's watching film and you mess up a play and he's just like, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, those are the cons. But there were cons for playing with Jordan. There were cons for playing with Kobe. There were cons for playing with players that were so great that they demanded excellence. There was cons for playing for Pat Riley or Popovich or Spoelstra. There's always cons when you're trying to win at the highest level.
All right, so of course, when you hear playing with LeBron and it sucks, that's going to make headlines, which, oh no, Richard Jefferson hates making headlines here. Whoopsies. We love you, Rich. But Iman, your thoughts here, playing alongside LeBron. Is he right?
To give it context.
Yep.
The statement, yes, it does suck. And I'm going to say it for two reasons. I'm going to piggyback off Richard's statement and saying there's a ridiculous amount of pressure that comes with it because you have to be in a win-now mindset every time you play on his team. I don't know why it's chopped up like that, but he is always expected to be at the top of the league, to win a championship. He's going to provide enough for you guys to get in there and make a difference. You have to be able to say now, in this time that I'm playing with LeBron, can I sacrifice if I was scoring 20 a game somewhere else? Now it needs to be 12 a game.
Did you experience that?
Oh, yeah. I've had my time with T-Lou where I got off. Great playoff game. I'm really shooting it well. I'm like, next game, I know we about to run some plays for sure. Absolutely not, Sean. We're glad we made it out of game 2. Go sit in the corner, knock that shot down, keep defending like a madman, but we don't need you to score. I think it was a hard pill for me to swallow as a player to hear that when I'm young and trying to get my stuff off. I'm like, man, I really want to get better and take that next jump in this league, and I'm being looked at like we're trying to win a championship.
Yep.
Your development, like T-Lou was, back then T-Lou, I know probably had a little, we had a little razzle-dazzle, we probably didn't want to have that convo, but I understand now him saying, hey, man, it ain't about you. You're going to want that ring way more than you're going to want player of the month.
Right.
You're going to want that ring way more than the most improved player next year and all. Right. Forget all that. Do you want to be part of something that's forever?
Right.
And, it sucks when you're going through that because that's a mental battle for any player. But it sucks in the beginning when you think of that. He didn't talk about how great it is to win the championship.
Right. It makes me think of the quote, pressure is a privilege, because that type of pressure, when you're able to rise to it, there is nothing better. And you certainly rose to the occasion all show long under this clear pressure. I don't know what's more pressure, playing with LeBron or hanging with us. You did a great job on your first show.
Thanks.
We appreciate you. Partner to our friend Tim McMahon, but because 2016 champ Iman Shumpert is in the house. Iman, welcome to NBA Today. You ready for this? It's going to be a fun show. You get to spend the rest of the week with us, and around these parts when Shams breaks news right before, that is exactly where we start our show. Let's say hello to our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, you reported this morning that finally the Suns and Bradley Beal, they have agreed to a contract buyout. Now he's headed to Los Angeles. What are the details of this deal with the Clippers?
Malika, I'm told Bradley Beal gave up almost $14 million to buy out of the Phoenix Suns and join the Los Angeles Clippers. 2 years, $11 million. His deal will have a player option next summer, so he's slated to be one of the top free agents next offseason. But this is someone that had $110 million left on his contract over the next 2 years. Obviously, did not work out in Phoenix. It was a failed 2-year experiment with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. And so over the last few weeks, Bradley Beal, his representative Mark Bartelstein, they've been talking and meeting with several teams around the league. Aside from the Clippers, we've seen the Bucks, the Lakers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Heat, all were involved here in this process. But Bradley Beal this morning decided to sign with the Clippers and team up with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden.
The Bucks, the Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, and yet the Los Angeles Clippers, Shams, are the team that prevails here. What was so attractive to Bradley Beal about joining LA?
Here's something interesting. I'm told James Harden was a focal point in recruiting Bradley Beal internally, but also speaking directly to Beal and his camp. And the Clippers really view Bradley Beal as a perfect fit alongside Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, being able to shoot 50% from the field, 40% from three-point range last season. He shot career highs in two-point field goals as well as at the rim last season. And so this is a player that has three-time All-Star experience. He's a former All-NBA player as well. They see him as a natural, seamless fit at the starting shooting guard position after the trade of Norman Powell.
Yeah, it's sort of a clear role that he slots into for the Los Angeles Clippers. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight as we bring it back here inside our studios. Iman, do you like this move here for Los Angeles?
I like the move just because I enjoy watching Bradley Beal play basketball.
Right.
Of course, But I am at the point now where I'm looking at it how you would look at a James Harden, how you would look at a Paul George, where we're saying, where do you take your team? What do you add to your team at this point, especially with you getting older? Now we have some injuries that come along. What can you add to this team and what's going to put me over the hump come playoff time? When I look at Bradley Beal, I feel like these are pressure situations because now we've paired you up with different superstars and we kind of got the same result. So you start looking around the league and you start looking for that younger guy. You don't want to become that guy that it's like, he's got the years, he's got the mileage on him, but we can't really get anything out of him. You got to produce, and you got to produce it efficiently if you're going to come and join superstars like that.
Look, the Norm Powell trade is now complete. The Clippers make that deal confident that they can get Bradley Beal, who, at franchise player money, at $50 million plus per year, it was a disaster in Phoenix. It was also a bad fit in Phoenix. He's being paid ninth man money now with the Clippers. There is a clear-cut role. They've got a great defensive infrastructure around him. This is the best team in LA getting better. This is a team that pushed the Denver Nuggets to 7 games in the first round that got significantly better today. And I think he is a great fit as a guy who, look, it didn't work in Phoenix, but he averaged 18 points per game for the Suns, 50, 40, 80. He can still put the ball in the hole. And I just think he's a much better fit with the Clippers and a much better contract, obviously, for the Clippers than it was in Phoenix.
It seems like it all comes down to the value here for Bradley Beal. It's not just the player that he is, but the value that they're getting him at. And it's very, very different looking at him on this contract than you were on the contract necessarily with the Phoenix Suns here. What is it that he can show you? You said you were all fans of Bradley Beal, of watching him play here. But what do you need to see from him to answer that question that you're asking? Because it's a fair one.
Understanding that you're coming to play with James Harden, understanding how we're going to space this floor, how am I going to help him at the end of games when I feel like the indecisiveness comes in, the 3 minutes of no scoring happening, not being able to get certain mismatches on the other end. So now you're going to have to be able to step up and guard somebody you weren't normally going to guard. Like, those are the things that you have to come and do alongside a James Harden and a Kawhi Leonard. When Kawhi Leonard can't go out there and guard the head of the snake, can you come out there and guard the head of the snake? I want him to be able to insert himself in a different way. And it's not a bad pressure at all.
Yeah.
This could be a great pressure for Bradley Beal. This could be a great spot for him. Like you were saying, I love that he's, getting this done. You're getting this done for cheap. You know what I'm saying? You're getting superstar quality for cheap. I understand he's not a rock star in this league anymore, but he's been there. He's been to the show and he's been in a playoff battle. So you want to see him come enjoy the team. I don't want him to fall into those things where it's